Hi, I'm Dana, that's me there stood in Lime Street Station, because I'm a very scaredy cat, anxious little autistic person that doesn't usually leave my house very often and gets very afraid when I do. And I went and made friends with an American. They're my best friend and I adore them. So when they were like, I need to go back to America and sort some stuff, I was like, yeah, really? And they were going for 3 weeks and 6 days, and I was like, but I'll really miss you. So when the opportunity to just come with them and not have to miss them came up, I was like, you know what? I have always wanted to go to America. This is a very big, very special experience that I would not usually be able to afford or deal with or like in any way do. So I would be very silly to pass up the option, you know? Like I've got this big chance and I should just take it. However, I was absolutely petrified, and I thought that if I'm going through this and dealing with this and doing a big thing, other autistic people are at some point, probably, maybe some of us. So I don't know how helpful this will be, to be honest with you, because like I said, I get very anxious, I get very scared. I don't really cope with things that well a lot of the time. So I largely coped with this by just dissociating. Like that's the thing, is I struggle to travel on my own because it feels like my brain just shuts down and I can't actually focus on anything or like process any sort of information. So like I will stare at like bus timetables and stuff and just like the information is all there. I know how I'm supposed to read it, but I can't process it. I can't take it in. I can't understand it in the moment, you know? So being able to travel with my best friend, they're the planner, they're the person that does that stuff, they're the person that understands it all. And a lot of it is just because they've had to. And like I'm very like that in other areas and they're like that in these areas, so we work out to like make almost an entire person. It's really quite fun. So with them doing it all, I could just sort of like dissociate and not have to deal with the like thoughts or the process of what was happening around me. You know, I very much just zoned out for a lot of it. I just follow them, do what they tell me, and it all works out. So in the option of like this actually being a vlog, I should probably explain what's going on. So like I said, this is us at Lime Street. We had to get the train to Manchester Airport so that we can then fly to Ireland and then fly from Ireland to America. And as you can imagine, travelling with a wheelchair using an autistic person feels like the start of a joke, because it kind of is the start of a joke. The fact that we're managing this and doing this is honestly a surprise to me. The fact that I'm managing this and doing this is a surprise to me. My friend does this, like, not all the time, but they've done it multiple times on their own, you know? Like, they were definitely going to be fine. I was genuinely petrified. Like, usually just getting the train is quite a big deal for me, you know? The fact that I was getting on this train knowing that I would also be then getting on planes and going really far away and leaving my cats and leaving my house, it all really genuinely freaked me out, like, to such a degree that I really struggled to focus on anything else. I struggled to, like, even pay attention to what was happening around me, you know? That's where it really works out with my best friend about I do just follow them, I just do what they tell me to. I just focus on them because I can't focus on things. So having them look me in the eye and be like, you need to do this right now, we're going here. Or even just be like, follow me. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But otherwise, like, the panic that just everyday situations causes me makes my brain shut down. The fact that I've done this and managed this and I'm coping with it and enjoying it is such a shock to me. To be fair, I'm doing this voiceover, I'm closer to the end of the trip than I am to the start of it now, so I've been here a while and I'm really not looking forward to the return trip home. But as much as I'm enjoying my time here, I did not enjoy the flight. I didn't enjoy the actual travel part, you know? Like, I don't think anyone does. It's not fun, it's not enjoyable. I didn't like it. I feel like that's fair. But it was one of those things where even though I knew what we were on the train for and where we were going and everything, it was as we were getting off the train and it fully sunk in that, like, we weren't just having a fun little, like, day trip in Manchester or whatever. Like, we were travelling somewhere, you know? It freaked me out a lot. Like, this was where I started to get really anxious and started to, like, fidget and stuff. It just really freaked me out a whole lot. And going through the airport was like, see, this part is so stressful to me, like figuring out where you need to be. So we did have a quick little city break before actually doing the travel. And sorry, I thought it wasn't recording, then I got scared. But yeah, I take lots and lots of little breaks to try and just like relax and calm down and re-regulate myself and deal with life, but it's still really tricky and I still don't enjoy it, and I still don't think that I would be able to actually function and do this type of thing on my own in the slightest. Like, I would not be able to do this on my own. And that's another thing that's kind of frightening and scary. I don't like having to depend on people and admit that I'm not very good at being independent, but that's the way it is. And I especially like don't think that I would be able to travel through the airport as like an ordinary person, you know? Like, even with the, like, added accessibility routes and everything that we took, just finding where you're supposed to go to access that kind of thing is so difficult, and not something that I feel like I am able to access on my own. And that's really shitty, because, like, it's there for people like me, but it's also really hard for people like me to access. But thankfully, because of my friend, we did access that, and we did get to, like, skirt a lot of the more crowded and, like, stressful areas. And honestly, one of the big things that got me through this and gets me through a lot of, like, travel situations that I've been in is, like, as someone who has very strong special interest in, like, stories and movies and TV shows and that kind of thing, I love the people watching that you can do in, like, travel outports, like, situations, like train stations, bus stations, air stations. Yes, that's exactly what it's called. What's it called? The airport. Like, all those kinds of places where you just get such a mix of diverse people. Like, there's just so many, like, random people from random places that you wouldn't usually see, and that are just passing through or just doing this thing. And I find that, like, quite, see, it's distracting in the way of, like, sometimes my friend was talking to me and I was just, like, completely not paying attention because I was looking at someone's, like, fucking patches on their backpack or whatever. But it also is, like, a pleasant distraction where I'm not so focused on what's happening around me, and I kind of feel like I'm, like, in with the mix, you know? You're not so noticed, that everyone's passing through, everyone's busy, no one's looking at you, no one's thinking about you, you're just there and existing, and that helped a lot. But I still did not enjoy, like, any moment with any of the staff, to be honest. Like, this part here where we're at, like, the bag checking bit, we weren't even checking bags, we travelled with carry-ons to come here, but we had to get, like, all the labels and things sorted for my friend's wheelchair, and I was so certain that he was going to stop me and be like, no, you can't take any clothes in your carry-on, actually, you can't take this and this and this. Like, I feel like everything that I've ever done with my life is wrong when I'm in any sort of situation with, like, authoritative staff members, and especially going through, like, TSA and stuff was horrifying for me. Like, I'm genuinely so certain that I'm going to, like, put my bag into the x-ray thing and they're going to be like, so why are you travelling with, like, 4 pounds of raw cocaine? And I'm going to be like, oh crap, I just forgot it was in there. When have I ever had cocaine? I haven't, but I am so certain they're going to find it on me in an airport. Like, am I smuggling drugs? Am I smuggling people? Am I a human trafficker? It all comes out when I'm in an airport, and I'm convinced that I'm going to get arrested for any of it at any moment. And this is the part of the video where you can really start to see me getting, like, anxious and not feeling good. I don't like being separated from my things. I've already been separated from my entire room's worth of things. I don't like my things being gone. I don't like my things not being near me. I don't like not having a grasp on my things. I lose things constantly just of my own accord. So, like, trusting myself to find it all again, trusting the people to actually put it through and not lose any of it, I'm convinced that all my stuff's going to be gone, and it absolutely panics me. My heart is in my throat the entire time. And they also made such a thing out of, like, searching every single pocket and bag of my friend's chair and just going through everything. And, like, on the one hand, I'm glad they do, because it's keeping people like me that haven't actually done anything and I'm just trying to travel and have a good time, keeps me safe. Like, thank you for doing it. But also, as someone who isn't doing anything, it's a horrifying experience for me. Also, just, like, having to take your shoes and your jacket and stuff on and off, having to just be organised and then not be organised and then reorganise everything. I find this part so unbelievably stressful, and it's the kind of thing where, like, a lot of the other stuff I just dissociate from. I just zone out. I'm just not there. My body is there doing the thing I've been told to do, and my brain is elsewhere, probably thinking about Doctor Who, to be completely honest. But when it's things like this, I have to be fully present and aware and pay attention to what I'm doing and pay attention to my stuff and make sure everything's there and be organised, and it is so overwhelming for my dumb little brain. Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't like referring to myself as dumb or stupid or whatever, because in lots of ways I don't think I am, and if I am, it's not because I'm autistic, which is how it's always taken online, but, like, I just feel like in, like, these situations where everyone else seems to just get through it and deal with it and not be that bothered by it, it bothers me to such an extreme degree, and it makes me feel so sick, and I really don't enjoy it at all. And, like, I think that part of it is also that, like, I don't like feeling like I'm trapped. I don't like feeling like I can't back out of a situation and that I don't have other options. And, like, once you've gone through that, it's like, I don't feel like I can walk back to the door and be like, actually, I've changed my mind. I don't want to go anymore. Let me get back out. You know, let me just go back to the train station. I don't know. I feel like maybe they would let you out, but I also, like, I wouldn't be able to physically go and ask them that because it would feel so awkward and weird, you know? And then going through duty free immediately afterwards and having just a bombardment of weird fancy perfumes, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. I wish they would lay that out differently. But the upside was that obviously we got taken through like the accessible routes, or at least told to follow the accessible routes. I also had my last UK Pepsi Max, and the Pepsi Max in America is minging. It's disgusting. I'm not touching it. But I currently have a Mexican Coca-Cola, and that is kind of the shit, to be honest with you. But back to the actual video, because it's one of those things where I assume that people with wheelchairs travel every single day, and yet no one seemed quite sure what to do with us or where to send us a lot of the time, and that added to like my stress and anxiety of just ending up in the wrong place or having my stuff taken off me for some reason. I was convinced I was going to have like every single one of my belongings confiscated at some point. Honestly, it stressed me. It all stressed me. And we had a lot of like, go this way, no, go that way, wait, isn't this person meant to be here, wait, why haven't you found this person, why haven't you done this? And it's like, well, because no one told us to go there and find this person and do this. It's like any sort of accessibility is always just such a faff, and it always feels like it takes so much longer than just everything else for every other person, you know? And like, it's so weird to me that people see so many, like, a lot of people have said that this is like some sort of special treatment because you get to skip the queues. I'm talking about people on like TikTok and Reddit, to be fair. I've not had to face it in real life, but people act like it's some sort of like special treatment and nice thing, and it's like, it literally just means that my friend can do the things that everyone else can do. And it also takes so much longer and is so much more anxiety inducing and stressful and so much more like back and forth, you know? Like, if someone didn't need this type of accessibility, I really don't see why you would go for it, you know? Like, if you could just get on the plane and be okay doing that, I don't see why you would do this instead. It's more stressful. It's weird. You don't know what you're doing a lot of the time. It's kind of horrible, honestly, but we got through it. We're living with, I was gonna say we're thriving, but like, we're trying to thrive. And the added thing for me is that a lot of the staff can, like, you can tell that they feel kind of bad about their accessibility not being the best and things like that, and they can feel bad if like anything goes a bit wrong or is a bit too confusing. So they make a lot of jokes and try to keep things very light-hearted, and I appreciate why they're doing it. I'm not mad about it, you know. I wouldn't leave anyone a bad review for doing it. I get why you're doing it, it's okay. But it also, like, there's a lot of little jokes that people do where I'm like, I'm already in a very stressful situation, you being like, oh, we're putting you in the chair next. I'm like, wait, are they? Is that how I have to get on the plane too? Because I've come this way, like, what's going on? And then they're like, oh, no, it's just a joke. And I'm like, oh, God, I missed the fucking social queue and I feel like an idiot. And he probably thinks I'm an idiot, but, you know, I get that people are being nice and that they're trying to make jokes to make me feel better, but I don't understand your damn jokes when I'm already so stressed. And it's also the added thing of we have to wait until everybody else has gotten off the plane, until we get off the plane. And we had, you know, I don't know what that was, I'm so sorry. What's happening with this editing? I didn't do this. I hope you enjoy. But like, we had to wait until everyone else had gotten off the plane, and we had a connecting flight, and I was getting real fucking anxious that we were going to end up somehow stuck in Ireland because we had to wait for everyone else to get off the plane, and then we had to sort out my friend's chair. And it's all things where like, you really couldn't have just let us off first, that we would be sorted with this, because then we would be like leaving and departing for our next flight at the same time that everyone else is getting off the plane and leaving for the next flight. You know, like, accessibility is very much just always the afterthought, and I don't feel like anyone cared that much about the fact that we had a connecting flight and that we could have missed it because their accessibility wasn't up to par. And it's never the staff's fault, you know, it's the systems that are put in place. The actual staff that you deal with on the day-to-day doing this kind of thing are lovely, but the systems that are in place aren't really good enough. And obviously the accessibility routes that we took were due to my friend being a wheelchair user and not because I'm autistic, and maybe things would have been a bit different if it were for that. But I feel like being autistic just isn't accommodated to in these kinds of situations. They're just like, you can walk, you can go here, go do your thing. And it's a case of like, I just don't understand a single thing that's going on in front of me right now. Nothing is processing, nothing is sinking in, and I am a very, very scared little being. Like, I just can't deal with stuff. And it's one of those where, like, I did deal with it, you know, I got through this. I'm in America having the time of my life. You know, like, I did deal with it, but I also, like, you know, I would have loved this video to be a bunch of tips on how to deal with it for other autistic people, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I just zoned out for 99% of it because I can't actually deal with this kind of thing. But obviously, I don't want to, like, limit myself and not get to, like, live life and explore and do cool things, you know? I feel like, you know, not to be an entitled little bitch, but, like, I feel like I deserve to have nice things and be able to do things I want to do still and shit. Like, I don't feel like I should be unable to do that kind of thing. But then I also know that there's lots of things that are just going to distress me and make me not feel good, and I never really know what that's going to be until it's happening to me. And it just causes so much added anxiety and fear, and I so often just don't feel very good about things. But we did it, we got through it. This was us in Ireland, I think. Yeah, this was us in Ireland, about to get on the flight that was like, what was it, like 12 hours or something to get to America from Ireland. It's still wild to me that I've done it. It's still wild to me that I'm in America. But the nice thing was that the Irish airport has like American TSA security type people there, so we got to do like the American security section in Ireland rather than doing it in America when we arrived after like travelling for like 15 hours or whatever all together with the train and everything, you know. So like this did terrify me, having like an American agent, like a big American man with an American accent, be like, and why are you going to America? It was scary for me. But after that was that. We were like going and getting on the plane, and it was all groovy, all groovy. That's what we're starting now. It's like fetch but different, you know. But yeah, we got on the plane, it was all alright, and it was a big, massive relief. Like as soon as we were on the plane and actually like I knew we were going to end up in our intended destination, I felt so much better. And there's only 20 seconds of the video left, so please follow me on here, please subscribe and like, please follow me on TikTok and Instagram, which will be like linked down below. If you want to follow me on Patreon, you get videos early, and if you wanted to just donate to me on Ko-fi, because I am a very poor person in America, getting increasingly more poor while I'm here, that would be lovely. But for now, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, and I'll see you again in a couple of days.